Shalom, welcome to the Jewish Task Force JTF. My name is Chaim Ben Pesach. Before we get to our subject, which is what will be the future with Iraq and what is the solution to this quagmire, to this terrible problem we have with the war in Iraq. Before we get to that, and you're going to hear some unique views on that, QPTV people can see our evening schedule. This is for QPTV viewers, and people who see QPTV can see our daytime schedule. And this is our great forum that we urge everybody to join. You don't have to be Jewish to join Jews Against Obama or to join the Jewish Task Force. We invite everybody to join our great forum. And if you can't remember the address, it's very easy to remember, JewsAgainstObama.com. That's our website, and on our website you can reach our forum and everything else, JewsAgainstObama.com. We were against the war in Iraq. When President Bush first started pushing for the war in Iraq, we were against it. We said that there is absolutely no connection to what happened on 9/11. Saddam Hussein was a vicious dictator, but he was not a threat to the United States, not a real threat to the United States. Iran was the threat, not Iraq. This is what we said repeatedly. We repeatedly said, we had articles throughout the 1990s saying Iran, not Iraq, is the threat to the United States. Iran, not Iraq, is the country on the verge of building nuclear bombs. Because the United States destroyed Iraq's nuclear bomb-making program in the Persian Gulf War, the first Persian Gulf War in 1990, 1991. And Iraq was unable to restart that program. Now, Iraq's nuclear bomb-making program was indeed very advanced when the United States went in and destroyed it in the Persian Gulf War. But Saddam Hussein and Iraq were unable to redo and rebuild that nuclear program. And the reason they were unable to is because of the severe economic sanctions. You need tens of billions of dollars to put together a program like that when you have unskilled scientists and you have to depend upon Europeans and Russians and Chinese and others to come in and do it for you. It cost tens of billions of dollars, and with the very severe sanctions, Iraq could not do it. Just couldn't do it. So we said that Iraq does not have weapons of mass destruction when everybody else said that they do. We were right. We were the only ones who said that, by the way. We were right. We said that Iran is the threat, not Iraq, and again, we were right about that. We also said that Iraq is overwhelmingly Shiite, and that the Shiites in Iraq are going to join up eventually with the Shiites in Iran if we overthrow Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein was a Sunni. He was part of the Sunni minority in central Iraq, and they were basically ruling by force over the Shiite majority. And this was good, actually, for the Western world. Saddam Hussein was actually good because he was preventing an alliance with Iran. Because if you don't have a situation like that, the natural tendency is for the Iraqi Shiites and the Iranian Shiites to join together against America and against Europe and against Israel and against the West. And that's what's going to happen now unless we take care of this problem appropriately. What is the solution to the problem? The solution to the problem is not surges and troops and getting Americans killed. There was no reason for that. Not a single American soldier should have been killed. There should never have been an invasion of Iraq. The whole thing was completely insane. Iraq was not a threat to the United States. The solution to the war in Iraq is to understand what the threat that Iraq is a threat. Why is Iraq a threat now? Because with Saddam Hussein, you had severe economic sanctions, but without Saddam Hussein, there are no sanctions. The sanctions have been lifted. So Iraq will be able to produce massive amounts of oil. Iraq has the second largest reserves of oil after Saudi Arabia in the world. If you combine Iraqi oil with Iranian oil, and if those two align with each other, you're going to have a very dangerous situation. They will quickly be able to build many nuclear bombs, and you will have a major threat posed to the United States and to the West, to Israel, to everyone in the civilized world. And so what's the alternative? What do we do now? There is no other solution except a short-term quick fix and then a long-term solution. The short-term solution is not in Iraq. It has nothing to do with worrying about Shiite militias and Sunni militias and this and that group. That is irrelevant. The danger of that from that part of the world does not come from Iraq. The danger is still the danger from Iran. The United States should immediately bomb and destroy, or Israel can do it as well. Either the United States or Israel should immediately bomb from the air and destroy Iran's nuclear bomb-making program. Iran has a nuclear bomb-making program with reactors and factories and laboratories scattered around the country, but American and Israeli intelligence know where almost all of it is. The United States and the Israeli Air Force are very capable. With bunker-busting bombs and other very advanced explosives they have through conventional weaponry, they are very capable, with their Air Force, to destroy from the air 90% or more of Iran's nuclear bomb-making program. If the United States or Israel destroyed Iran's nuclear bomb-making program, and either country could do it easily from the air, if the United States or Israel destroyed Iran's nuclear bomb-making program, it would set back the Iranians 10 years, at least 10 years, in building a nuclear bomb, and it would save the world for at least a decade from this very serious danger. That is what should be done right away. And if we bomb, when I say we, either the United States or Israel, if we bomb Iran's nuclear bomb-making program and destroy Iran's reactors, laboratories, factories, if we destroy their nuclear bomb-making program, in all probability, not one American or Israeli life will be lost. This will all be done from the air. Not a single American will be killed, unless maybe once in a while you'll have a mishap in a situation like this, but there'll be very few, at the very least, there'll be very few casualties, and there'll probably be zero casualties. And that's if either the United States or the Israeli Air Force do it. We will have no casualties. We will get the job done. We will eliminate this danger for at least the next 10 years, and that will truly be a big blow to international Islamic terrorism. That's the short-term real solution. And the long-term solution is an emergency crash program to create alternatives to oil, to end our addiction to oil. We must eliminate oil as a valuable commodity. We must use coal. We must use every other possible source. And I don't care if it's everything from coal to solar power to wind power to ocean power. Everything you can imagine we should be using in order to eliminate dependence upon oil and addiction to oil. If we eliminate our addiction to oil and natural gas, you eliminate oil and natural gas as sources of energy and have alternative sources, and there are many alternative sources that we can develop if we have a crash program. If you do that, you will put the Arabs and the Muslims out of business. That is the only thing they know how to do. They don't even know how to do that. Westerners do it for them, but that's the only thing they have going for them. You eliminate that, you are cutting off their cash flow. It will stop the Islamic population boom. It will stop them from having enough money to develop weapons of mass destruction. And it will eliminate the truly serious terrorist menace that exists. Iraq and Iran and the whole Middle East is not a threat to America or Europe or the rest of the world if oil is no longer a factor. Oil is what makes the Middle East a threat, because oil gives the Arab and Muslim terrorists who believe in a crazy religion that says they have to conquer the world for Allah and murder all the non-Muslims in big holocausts. Oil gives them the power to actually effectuate a holocaust against Western targets. Oil gives them the power to actually build nuclear bombs and, God forbid, eventually set them off against America or Israel or European cities. They will have the ability to do this because of oil, unless we develop a crash program to end our addiction to oil. There is no other solution to these problems. We must destroy Iran's nuclear bomb-making program before it's too late. That's in the short term. That must be done immediately. And we must, in the long term, begin a crash program now to create alternatives to oil and to end our addiction to oil and to render oil worthless. If we do that, there does not have to be a single American soldier in Iraq or anywhere in the Middle East, including Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, they can sit and eat their camel dung and can sit and eat their sand. They can swallow their sand and their camel dung and drink their oil, because it won't be worth anything if we do what we're supposed to do. We can do it if we have the will to do it, and if we become a mass movement, we're going to push that this be done, and that would solve the problem of terrorism. But we have to move on this very quickly because the threat is very great. Shalom.